It's hammer time, everybody, and welcome to the Jersey Shore Podcast. Today, we've got a packed show from breaking news to topics that will keep you informed. So please click the subscribe button to get notified of upcoming episodes. If you like what the Hammer talked about, then share the Jersey Shore Podcast to others. Damon also looks forward to your comments during this episode. Tonight's Jersey Shore Podcast starts now.
Good evening, America. If you think that was easy, it wasn't. And I want to thank everybody because they did the right thing. They saw lightning, and I said, there's no way if we have to speak in front of one person at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be here. There's no way we can be deterred. And they estimated they had 375,000 people before everybody had to leave. And they now have 150,000 people. It's the craziest thing anyone's ever seen. At least. And I want to just thank you. And I feel so badly about some people. They left and they couldn't get back. But you're very special people. And we have a very special country. Thank you very much.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Jersey Shore Podcast, brought to you by the Great America's Pulse Network. I'm your host, Damon Galdo, and tonight we have a great show lined up. Later in the program, right after this monologue, I'll be joined by congressional candidate Gregg from New Jersey's 12th Congressional District as we discuss the future of our state, our campaigns, and why we believe New Jersey can do better. But first, let's talk about something bigger. This year, America celebrated its 250th birthday. You know, I can think about that for a moment. 250 years ago, ordinary men, ordinary people, I would say, made an extraordinary decision. They declared that freedom was worth fighting for, that government should answer to the people, and that every generation has a responsibility to protect liberty for the next one. And it was one of the great, other than the Bible, I would say it was one of the greatest documents ever created. For 250 years, America has endured war, economic crisis, political decisions, and moments when many wondered if our best days were behind us. Yet every time Americans have found a way to rebuild, they innovate and move forward. That's what makes this country exceptional, not because we're perfect, but because we're always striving to become better. Which brings us to New Jersey. Tonight's episode is titled America Turns a Young 250 while New Jersey is on life support. And I don't want to sound doom and gloom or anything like that, but it's kind of the truth. And we're going to get into that. And we're going to talk about how we're going to fix it. So bear with us and stay tuned. So that's a question worth asking. Like, how is it that the greatest nation in the world continues to inspire hope while so many New Jersey families tell us they feel like they're just trying to keep their heads above water? And trust me, I feel it too. I'm sure anyone listening right now in New Jersey probably feels it too. I mean, we have some of the highest property taxes in the country. Housing has become increasingly difficult for many families to afford, especially young people that are getting out of college. They're still living with their parents. They can't afford it. You know, the cost of groceries, utilities, insurance, and everyday necessities continues to strain household budgets. The state has just enacted the largest budget in New Jersey history, and many residents are asking whether they see results that match the level that they're spending. And I'll say this again and again and again. I'll hammer it all the way through every single time. But it's over a $60 million budget, and the biggest ever. 7.3 billion of that goes towards illegal aliens in our state. We pay for that. That comes out of our state taxes alone. You go to work every day. You're paying for people that shouldn't be here. I'm not saying all illegals are bad at all. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying we shouldn't be paying for them. I pay for my kids. You know, I pay for my wife to stay at home mom for now anyway. But I shouldn't be paying for somebody that is not really supposed to be here in this country. or in the state even. So tonight, we'll also discuss data centers, energy demands, affordability, sanctuary state policies, and the direction New Jersey is heading. These aren't just political talking points. They affect whether young families can afford to buy a home, whether seniors can remain in the communities that they've lived in for decades, whether businesses choose to stay, and whether our children decide to build their futures here or somewhere else. And when I say here or somewhere else, I always call New Jersey, it's like a prison. And I'm going to say it again because I like saying it because it's a really good comparison. Like the movie Bronx Tale. When Sonny locks the door and says, "Now you can't leave." And the thing is, if you want to leave, they're going to tax you on the way out. So it's like, now you can't leave because we're going to hit you hard on the way out. So our goal tonight isn't simply to criticize, though. It's to ask hard questions, examine ideas, and discuss what a stronger future for New Jersey could look like. So grab a cup of coffee, join the conversation in the comments, and share this broadcast with your friends and family. Because America may be celebrating its 250 years of freedom, but the decisions we make today will determine what the next 250 years look like for our country, for our state, and for generations to come. This is the Jersey Shore. Let's get started. So I'm going to bring on our guest. There's Gregg, Mele, candidate for District 12 for Congress. So Gregg, thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Damon. Always a pleasure to be here.
So, well, first I'll start with something easy. How are you enjoying this weather New Jersey's been having?
Yeah, it's been that up and down thing, hasn't it? But I guess we've had that a fair amount of the time. You get used to it, but it is pretty extreme lately, one way or the other. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we go from extreme hot. They canceled all the parades. Not all of them. Some still went through, but they cut the parade half and half. They cut it short because it was bad. I went to the Belmar one, and thank you, Blake Shepshesky, for inviting me to that. And my wife and kids, they sat on the float with my dog, and I walked behind it. I was just covered in sweat. My shirt was soaked up. But I got to talk to people. A lot of people still came out. They had their tents above them. A lot of people were hot. But they still wanted to come out. It was America's 250th. I mean, this is something. I'm never going to see a celebration like this again. I'm 44 years old. I doubt I'm going to. I seriously doubt I'm going to live to 94. You can see the 300. But
you never know. I mean, I was an 11-year-old kid for the 200, and actually we took a trip to Florida. I was in Epcot that day, and I don't know if you remember everybody's probably first instrument, the recorder in school. I played a couple of patriotic tunes at Epcot when they were having the celebration on that day 50 years ago today. So, we might hang in there for the next one. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll try to be as healthy as I can. So.
Mm-hmm.
But so this segment here, I labeled it "America turns 250 while New Jersey's on life support." And again, I don't want to be negative about it. I really don't. But you have to point out the important things that you were trying to do, that I'm trying to do to save New Jersey. I mean, there's so many things that are going. We're the highest taxed, one of the highest taxed states, in the country. I think we might be the highest in property taxes. Number one, our gas tax. I think it's a 49 cents, and it automatically goes up. I mean, it's very hard to live in New Jersey right now. And I feel bad for the young kids. I talk to a lot of young Republicans, a lot of them, and they're still living with their parents, and they can't afford to buy a home because of the property taxes and what the price of the home is now. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, how do we lower that?
Well, I mean, as far as, New Jersey is certainly struggling on affordability for a while now. The rest of the country, or the bulk of the rest of the country, is doing quite a bit better. And unfortunately, that really points to our state administration, our governor and her people, as a big part of the problem. I was surprised last year that I mean, she never really offered a solution. She never talked about any solving of the problem. Just we're gonna fight for affordability, but she never had a plan. She never had any specifics. And I guess I kind of understand with the young people who have been told one thing in many of the indoctrination type schools, but anybody who's been around any length of time knows that pretty much every time the Democrats are in charge, the economy tanks. They have other priorities, and they have this tax and spend philosophy for many years that really suggests, and in line with what now we're seeing with a move towards socialism, that they're suggesting that the way to prosperity is to tax even more. And it's like, if it's already not affordable, how do you do more taxes? And it just doesn't fit any logic. And I mean, as someone who, among other things, does have an economics background, I have some credential there. I mean, the other thing is, for example, minimum wage being increased so much. I mean, the Democrats seem to think you can move that one element of the economy and keep everything else the same somehow, and it just doesn't work that way, no matter how much you try, unless you want to have something drastically bad happen, supply and demand and supply chain problems and things like that. It would be so much worse to try to lock down more elements of the economy. But clearly, when the salaries go up, especially on really mostly what are considered no or low skilled jobs, I mean, those were never meant to support a family, first of all.
Right.
That's for kids to have spending money and retirees to have something to do. It cannot sustain that, because the productivity from that is not enough to sustain a salary that would provide for that kind of support. So, I mean, if you want to have a family, usually the idea is you want to, get further educated, get some more skills, that the demand for them is high enough that the reward can be there also, sufficient to have a bigger family and support them. I mean, the goal is not for anyone to be striving for assistance. And all this, raise the taxes, I mean, that's among that they're trying to encourage more people to be dependent on the government, have a bigger government, and get away from probably one of the dirtiest words in government, and certainly with politicians, self-sufficiency. I mean, that's what I strive for in terms of my policy thoughts, is as many people as possible should be self-sufficient. And we should be, for example, as one example, unemployment. If people go on unemployment, that the money going there in unemployment tax should be to set up all kinds of training systems, so that let's say either a worker, their career or their industry kind of fades out due to technology or whatever else, or there's just a downturn there, and they are looking to do the same work which still exists, but maybe just not where they were. Then they need either training or retraining or whatever else to get current with technology. And there's no stopping the fact that technology will continue to be moving faster and faster. We have to help our people keep up. We can't give up on them and put them on the government dole, and look to pay more people that can't find work by the fewer and fewer who can, and then nobody wins except the elites. So we have to really, provide the opportunities at that more granular level of the training programs and other such things, to make sure, again, we have as many people self-sufficient as possible.
Well, you're right about that. And when you mentioned about well, my motto itself is built by working hands, because I'm a union carpenter and construction manager. And the thing is, I'm doing this for working class families. And you brought up the minimum wage. Now, and I'm a numbers guy, so I talked about this. I did a whole episode on it, maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, something like that. It was about the inflation versus the wage growth. Now, we had like 23% inflation from like 2020 to now, pretty much, and the middle class wages went up 22%. So we're not even matching that. but then they raised the minimum wage 85% in that time period. Like you said, it was made for like a young kid getting out of high school, or maybe during high school to work at these type of jobs, or a retiree, and that's what it is. So the middle class got hit the worst because not only did their wages not catch up to that amount of inflation that Biden had, it costs more money. Hey, listen, if I go to McDonald's with my kids, there used to be $1 menu. I go there, my wife, my 2 kids, it's like $60. I'm like, this is McDonald's, because they have to pay them more now, and it wasn't made for that. So the middle class, and we're the ones that actually have families, so we consume the most products. So when you force, owners to pay more money in minimum wage, and it's like a double whammy to the middle class. Our wages didn't catch up to inflation yet. Hopefully it does soon. But then you get hit harder when you go out and when you're a consumer, because you actually have a family. Most middle class people have families, and they cost more money. I mean, kids are in sports, kids, whatever it may be. They want to go to see a movie, they want to go to a restaurant, they want to go to Taco Bell. I mean, I'm just throwing things out there, but it's like everything there is, it's so much more money.
If you think about it, the minimum wage is just a different form of government benefit. They're pushing now, instead of like a welfare or a social security, well, not social security, excuse me, but unemployment, things like that. That is collecting taxes and redistributing. For the minimum wage, you're talking about really forcing private corporations to pay more and have smaller margins, anything like that. And meanwhile, that's what sustains jobs and job growth. I mean, you have only so many really large companies that can only employ so many people, but the rest of employment comes from small business and the middle class people who own those and take that risk of having a business where their income certainly is not steady, but they have to hire people who will demand steady pay, and it's just there's only so much of a limit depending on the role. Again, some small businesses, they have high-end product that can bring in a lot of revenue, which can allow them to afford more and highly skilled people. But I mean, the more and more, I mean, just the example of the fast food. I mean, if everybody is getting paid a disproportionate salary for being behind the cash register or whatever else, I mean, the kiosk becomes that much more justifiable as a cost to the business to replace all those jobs altogether and get rid of them with automation. And there's so many industries that are already moving in that kind of direction, that the jobs that are going to be around more as time goes on, a lot of the menial stuff, or very physical labor type jobs, more and more of those are going to go away, and people are going to have to be equipped with higher level skills in order to have a job at all. And that's also, though, why this country has been great, among other reasons, is people are always striving to innovate and find those new product areas or new service jobs, that kind of thing, to really provide opportunities for more people. And then they in turn can afford to do something, if they like, down the road, even a little bit, possibly after working there for a while, to just talk about trying to always look ahead and say, okay, what's next? I mean, that's what that kind of innovative thinking is what made America great for many years now already. Is you have to be thinking about not just like, what am I doing in my job today, but where is this area headed, and can I contribute to that at an even higher level, so that I can then be the one who employs so many other people and whatever. So that's where we need to encourage people to head with things, not sit back and collect payments.
Yeah, and that's what's killing us. It's socialism, which is turning into communism now. We got Mondani and other people, and we talked about this in prior Pulse episodes as well. They want to reach in your pocket and give it to somebody else. But that prevents innovation. It prevents anybody from building entrepreneurship, and build their own company. They're like, why would I do this? Why would I move forward if everyone's equal no matter what? Nothing's based on merit. Nothing's based on basically capitalism or free market. It's just that. I mean, it makes me think every day that I go to work every single day to provide for my family, and then the government, which shouldn't be reaching into my pocket, is going to take it and give it to somebody else who does not want to work, or give it to somebody else who does not even belong in this country. It's like there's no way. I mean, it's very disheartening, but I still do it. I have a family that I have to support, but my bills keep going up and up and up and up, and it's like, well, my insurance policy, my insurance premiums are going up big time. So everything is going up. It's just when I had my son 8 years ago, he just turned 8 on the 4th of July, by the way. So
congrats.
He loves his birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's funny that my daughter was born in October, and she's older. She's going to be 13 in October. And I had to buy fireworks every October because she would say, "Why does he get fireworks on his birthday?" No, I don't. So I had to go buy fireworks and set them off for her. But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I'll get to work every single day. I bust my butt, and just like everybody else does, it goes to work every day, just like you do, and anyone else that has a job that needs to support a household or support themselves, even if they're single and live alone, it doesn't matter. It's like, well, you're going to take my money and give it to someone who doesn't deserve it. The socialism and communism is very prevalent right now. It's like it's a move going across the nation almost. I mean, you got the one in Colorado who just got elected as well.
Look, socialism equals communism. I mean, in my mind, there's no difference. That's silly to suggest that, there's like a socialism light. It's all the same. Eventually, everybody who's working hard and then, resources are taken away from them. And after a while, you have to think, maybe it's better to stay home. Maybe I'll make just as much or close enough to it to do nothing all day. And I mean, this is something, it ties also into, I hate to bring up unemployment again, but just briefly, Murphy's the one who took away the requirement to show you're at least looking for a job. And even that was just suspect to begin with. But, if you're going to pay people as much as they could get at work, and lengthen the time for unemployment and take away that requirement, then sure. You're going to have just like the classic socialism/communism definition. You got 10 people sitting in the carriage with no one to pull it in front with the horse. So it's like, you're just going to all be at a standstill. It's it's so obvious that really, if people stop and think about it, the problem is a lot of people who follow this socialism thing now, they really don't know, because they haven't had to look into it. And when people try to challenge them, they walk away instead of answering questions and figuring out that there's actually no answer for how to make that work. But instead, it's kind of like they've been indoctrinated with the sound bites over substance, and they've just said, okay, well, this is easy enough. I can memorize a 4-word sound bite and just keep parroting it all day long, and feel like, in the end, I've made a difference because I've stood up for this system that they don't realize when they look under the hood that doesn't work. Never has, never will.
No, you're right. And I wanted to just thank Donald for chiming in the chat there. It says, Galdo, you are going to win the election. Sadly, I can't call you congressman until you take office. Well, thank you for your enthusiasm. So my plan is to win this. I am going to. And then, I'll lose this. He said Democrats promise. I missed that one. There's another one from Donald. And then Timmy297 said, skilled labor will never become obsolete. AI will never be able to replace human construction labor. Yeah, as of right now, no. So we're safe with skilled labor, and it is a good paying job, and everyone's going to need a carpenter, everyone's going to need a plumber, everyone's going to need an electrician.
I feel like the trades are going to last a lot longer than some of the other stuff. So
sure. Maybe one day in the future when I'm long gone, we'll have a robot that you hire to come and fix your toilet and your plumbing or something like that. It's not happening anytime soon.
Well, yeah, it's a long way off for a lot of that stuff, but I mean, people are working on it, so you never do know. Yeah, probably we won't see it ourselves, but yeah, we want to make sure it doesn't happen to the point where no one can do anything for their own livelihood, and I mean that's really how you fulfill the American dream: is you work hard and earn your way to a better life. So if you run out of things to do because of things like automation at too high a level, then you have no path to follow in order to improve that life of yours.
Yeah, one more point too. Talking about that, people coming from American Dream before we take a break. We talked about this on the polls on Wednesday, and we talked about. I had a bunch of graphs that I made up, and I showed like where people immigrated from, in 1800s to like the 1920s, and then they came from majority European countries, and then and they came here to work. There was no welfare system or anything like that. They actually came here and they had to find work. A lot of people didn't want to even hire them because they weren't from here to begin with. But they worked through it and they built a life for themselves. But when you look at the demographics of the countries that they're coming from now to then, and it's all like third world countries that are coming here not some. I'm not saying everybody. They'll come. They want the American dream. They want to come here and work, but a lot of them are coming here because they know that they'll get free stuff.
Yeah, the thing is for the illegal aliens that come, the vast majority are people who were signaled by Biden clearly, okay, just lie and say you need asylum and it'll get you in the door and then we won't chase you. I mean, that's what he did. And because of that, we had this big influx. And yeah, unlike the traditional immigration, the legal immigration that you and I know from years ago, including our ancestors, I mean, they came here knowing they had nothing. They knew, though, that where they were was not going to get better anytime soon. And they knew that this was a place where they at least had the opportunity to make their life better. Now, they're not interested, these illegal aliens, in making their life better. They're looking to suck all the benefits out of the government that they can. And some of these governors, in particular, including our own, are like, oh, yeah, we'll put aside hundreds of millions of dollars for these people, while the people who are citizens here just are having so much trouble keeping up and finding alternatives to do to make their life better. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. It really is. I just wish people would realize that. That's why we do this podcast. That's why we have the network, is to get the information out there. It is growing, so it's a good thing. But with that, we're going to take a quick break, real quick break, and then we'll go to Hammer 2 after this.
Yeah. This one's for New Jersey. For every working family that's had enough. Name's Damon Galdo. And I'm just getting started.
Tonight we come together for one of the most joyous and glorious milestones of all time, and you know what that is, 250, the 250th anniversary. And I do have to say this. One of my very brilliant people backstage said, don't worry about it, sir. We can do it maybe next week. I said, it doesn't work next week. This is the big day. We want July 4th. We're not looking for July something else. Because this is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. Nothing like it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Hammer number 2, New Jersey Shore Podcast. We have congressional candidate Gregg Mele for District 12 in New Jersey on. Thank you again, Gregg, for coming on. Appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And this, I labeled this segment, New Jersey at the crossroads, taxes, sanctuary policies, and record budget. So I'll start at the end of that one, Gregg. I mean, when Mikey Sherrill got in, well, I'm sure you weren't happy about it. I wasn't either. She promised she wasn't going to raise anything up, not lower the electric bill that we pay so high now in New Jersey, because we used to export electric. Now we have to import.
Exactly.
And she said, "Oh, I'm going to put a freeze on it." Oh, well, thanks for that. Thanks for keeping it as high as it's going to be, forever. I appreciate that. But now she just passed. She got through a record budget for New Jersey, highest it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, if spending keeps increasing, why does so many residents still feel services aren't improving?
Because not all that money gets there by the time all the siphoning happens behind the scenes. But you know, this is something that's a whole separate battle in terms of trying to uncover things. I mean, we really need a New Jersey equivalent of Doge to come in and examine everything and clean up all the waste, fraud, and abuse, which is rampant, especially here, unfortunately. And yeah, I mean, the record budget is just one of the most responsible things I've ever seen. Um, I have heard other folks say, the first budget you do as a governor is like your best chance of, you know, pushing the limits of doing the right thing because you're the furthest from reelection when you pander more, or at least many pander more to the voters. But, she didn't miss a beat. And right off the bat, she's just throwing all kinds of nonsense in there because I think everybody who helped her get in is looking for some of those siphonings that will, of course, wind up draining down so much by the time it gets to where the money is really needed for the programs she's talking about. And some of those programs, of course, are nonsense to begin with, too. But even for the ones that are important, and I mean, look, we can use the school system example. We had Federal Department of Education in the late 70s created. We were number one in all the main subjects around the world, and now we're around 40 in all the main subjects per country, by country. And there's a reason for that, because one size fits all, which is a theme that Democrats love in every aspect of life, pretty much. It doesn't work ever. You have too many people to fit one size on everybody. The best people who are qualified to know in the school system how to teach kids more effectively are the teachers. Yet they get all this other outside control and influence from the administrations and the higher level departments of ed. And they also don't get the money every year. I mean, starting back at least when I was a parent of young children and they were getting ready for school, every year the school budget was voted on, and everybody tried to guilt you into saying, into voting for it, because it was like, oh, it's for our kids. We love them. We have to give whatever the school system says. It must be right. We can't skimp on that. But the problem is that's what created this 7 and 8 level redundant administrative level, system in all the school districts that is siphoning off all the money. I mean, Newark gets over $1 million, and what do? They throw a big party with a DJ, and everybody's dancing and drinking and all that stuff. And the teachers are still buying supplies. That hasn't changed in the 50 years that I'm aware of it. So, it's not going to change unless you have accountability. That's why one of my main pillars is school choice. 80% of the people want school choice, except the Democrats. They want to keep control of the school system because they know that if they can indoctrinate and brainwash enough of our young people before they know to recognize that and avoid that, or not buy into it at least, they could change a child's mind for the rest of their life if they hammer home enough ridiculous messages. So it's Hitler's playbook that they took when they started taking over the school system and really doing this indoctrination garbage over the last probably 30 years or so. Very slowly, one step at a time. They had this plan a long time ago that they were going to just ruin the kids for a generation.
Absolutely.
And there are so many now that are really struggling. And
I'll bring it back to what I've been talking about in multiple episodes. I'm going to say it every episode from here on out. Bring it back to January 10th, 1963. The Congress put out how to destroy country from within, and one of the line items out of the 47, I think it's 52 or something like that. It's all happening now, and one thing is take control of the schools and indoctrinate children, and that's exactly what's happening now. That's just one out of everything else that's going on right now. And the thing is, I don't know. Maybe I can blame myself a little bit for it because I really didn't pay attention. My kids were very, very young, but then they just started going to school. They're not, they haven't been in school that long. My daughter's 12, and my son is just turned 8. But it just once I realized it, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, like what's going on here? So
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that, I mean, it is a byproduct of the technology advances. Is now we also have international job competition where, like, our parents' generation, it was only local competition for jobs. Now the whole world can get involved in our work here. So you need two incomes, and also that winds up taking time away from children, at least some. And look, enough parents, they were just so tired or whatever else, and so one problem, they never wanted a kid upset because they couldn't stand hearing the crying after a long day of work, and both parents did that. So then kids got spoiled with getting stuff, never being turned down for anything, never taught the lessons of no. And then the other part being, the teachers jumped right in to say, like, okay, I mean, the bad ones, of course, and of course we have many of both, but the more activist teachers, I'll call it, I guess that will fit the current terminology some, they just saw an opportunity to take control of the kids' lives. And it was initially like, oh, don't worry, we know you're tired, so we're going to make sure we're doing our end to also raise them up some. And this is the whole Hillary Clinton takes a village thing that started to take the place of things. And like you said, I mean, before you know it, a little while down the road, suddenly we're seeing all this nonsense being taught and none of the essential stuff. And then it's also, I mean, as that was forced on the teachers, the good ones were quitting at a much higher rate because they just were so disgusted. They got tired of that system. And so, again, with Murphy initiating it, once the good teachers left, they didn't have enough teachers, of course, which makes sense. But so what do? They lower the standards so that even worse teachers come in than the ones that were already indoctrinating. They didn't make it more attractive for the good teachers to come back or more of them to study in education so that they could come in and fill those gaps or voids. So, yeah, it's just been a downward spiral with the education for a long time. And especially New Jersey has suffered greatly, particularly without the school choice that we really need. At a federal level, we need to do that. We need to have that open for everybody.
No, I believe you 100% with that. We definitely do. My buddy Seth is over here. I think he just made a comment. He's Jono on here, but he says all the time. He said, "You know how you change it?" He said, "You homeschool." He said, "You starve them out, starve the teachers' unions out." But not everybody can do that. And but I told him, I said, I would like to, but I have a job, and my wife is going back to work soon, so it's a hard thing to do, but not everyone can do it, and that's why I hate any. I am a union member. I'm a union carpenter, but I hate any union that takes taxpayer funded dollars. The teachers unions and different other government unions, because my union is self-sustaining. We go to work, we build commercial buildings, and we build something for a developer, or we do government work too. We'll build a government building, but technically we are taking taxpayer dollars in that sense. But we're not. We're building a building for them. But we bankroll our entire pension, our annuity, our health care. It all comes from our work, not any taxpayer dollars whatsoever. So any union that collects taxpayer dollars, I don't think there should be unions in government work at all, because I really don't. And the teachers unions excuse me, have gotten so big that you can't stop them from what they're doing. And then you see them on TV. I mean, NJEA, when they're just screaming at the top of their lungs and at a rally, and you're looking at them, you're like, you are an educator? Like, you educate people? I mean, I'm not the smartest person, in the world. I'm never going to be. But looking at that, I'm like, you're not teaching my kid. You're out of your mind. And it's just the way it is. I mean, that's what I said is New Jersey on life support. I mean, that's one of the things I said in the monologue. It seems like it is. And we are the greatest country in the world. We just celebrated our 250th. I mean, there's no other country that has ever come close to what we've accomplished here. And well, not just me. I didn't do what they did back in the day to get us where we are. I didn't fight in any wars. I thank everybody for their service and their sacrifice. But and our forefathers that wrote that document, like I said before, I think it's the second best document other than the Bible, and it was just a wonderful thing. And people that hate this country, people that are indoctrinated, think they should get everything for free, and people don't realize what the country was based on to begin with. It's like they need a wake up call, and they're going to have it, but it's going to hurt all of us. It's going to hurt everyone else, every voter out there that believes in what we believe in, believe in this country, realize that they are going to hurt us. Once it's not sustainable, it's going to collapse eventually. We're $39 trillion in debt. We can't have that. I mean, this state, the biggest budget that was ever passed, $60-some billion, and we've been $7.3 billion going to people that don't belong here, and it's our money. And I tell people all the time, the government doesn't have money. They're not a private business. They don't make money. They take our money and abuse it. So that's why one of the reasons why I'm running. Sure, that's one of the reasons why you're running. To make a difference in that as well.
No, absolutely. I mean, yeah, we have a lot of work to do for New Jersey. That's for sure. I mean, it's been a downward spiral, like I said. I mean, I remember, of course. Being a lifelong resident, I remember New Jersey a long time ago, and it was some of the best of everything, just about. But it's been that deterioration, a little piece at a time. It's the 1,000 cuts that have been happening all along, and yeah. I mean, it's kind of like we said before, about the schools and the budgets. That in the beginning, you don't necessarily notice a whole lot of it, or you're running around and just too busy or whatever. But now we have to worry about, for example, I'll just mention briefly an opponent that I have that is a supporter of jihad. I mean, how is that even someone who would be nominated by anybody? How could any clear-thinking person nominate this guy? And yet, here he is. And of course, now he's getting all the foreign dark money from the terror groups, and that's what I have to fight against. So. Now, it's really nothing I would have ever imagined in my lifetime or beyond even. I mean, I never thought this could happen to this level where it is already. Never mind if we let more of these folks get into legitimate seats of power, that we know anyone who's clear thinking is going to know that they are going to abuse that and direct it against this country. Far worse than just abusing things. They're also going to use it as a weapon to destroy the rest of the country that remains as it is.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize how. Like I said, I don't like the fearmonger, but we're there. We're at a point where these people get elected that actively hate this country. They don't like it at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would say my first thing is, if you don't like it, get out of here. Go somewhere else. But they're not going anywhere. But they're getting elected officials. Look at the squad. Look at Leon Omar. Look at look at Madani. It's just they do not like this country. And then Madami's speech on I think he did it on July 3rd, not the 4th, I believe. There was nothing. It was happy 250th birthday to the United States of America, and then it was like negative. America's horrible and this, that. I'm like, you're the sitting mayor of used to be the greatest city, in the world, not just this country. And you're the sitting mayor, and you're trashing the United States of America. I mean, and people elected him. Like, what is going on? Where did common sense go? People need to realize.
The democratic philosophy, the socialism, the liberalism. I mean, it's a philosophy of envy that they try to get you jealous of people who actually built something valid and were rewarded for it. And they want the public to stay under government control. They want them to be dependent. They want them to get angry at the other guys so they keep winning elections. But yeah, I mean, the whole squad, not one of them has ever been qualified. neither is Mamdani, and none of them should hold any public office. They're totally unqualified, and neither should my opponent, by the way. But you have folks who just like they've been vilifying our side of the aisle forever, and it's too convenient for people to just be lazy and just say, okay, well, yeah, sounds good. And so a lot of them just do not dig into the information. If they did, I think we'd see a big change in primarily the turnout for elections. Because, I mean, again, as an example, I'm dealing, like I said, it's basically an Islamic fundamentalist, which distinguishes from the Muslim religion and those who follow it properly. The Islamic fundamentalists essentially bastardize the religion. They don't follow it. They disgrace it, and by taking the message and twisting it around into something else that talks about all this jihad and whatever. But these people, I mean, the militant terrorist groups, I mean, they are just looking to get everybody. First of all, they are, like I said, one thing they are is organized. They have very high turnout among their group of the terror factions because they want to proactively and overtly just take over through the channels of power. And until we get the rest of the public to, first of all, look into it further and see how bad they really are, and get up off the couch and vote at a par level with them, until then, we're going to have problems. But that's the thing, is so many people, until somebody breaks into their house and threatens their family, they think it's a million miles away, and they just think it's never going to happen to them. And meanwhile, if you're in the second half of the wave, and 50% of people have already been attacked and destroyed before you have it at your doorstep, and that's what you need to decide, like, we need to go out and fight this. Guess what? It's too late. They've already got the majority then across the board everywhere, as far as people who are involved and active and doing things to keep that vote up on their end. It's just not going to work after that. We have to consider this an urgency right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's why, again, I'll say it again, that's why we do this podcast. That's why we have this network. And that's why people that are chiming in the chat box, anybody else that wants to, that's watching right now, if you're watching on Rumble or YouTube or X or whatever it may be, you guys can ask a question, make a statement. We'll put it up there for you as long as it's appropriate. But other than that, we're going to go to our next break and get to the third segment. So let's take a break. Right about
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up, because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, Elena, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Parler, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution, because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.
For 2.5 centuries, our American republic has stood as the crowning achievement of human history. This country is the home of freedom. This is the land of liberty. And this is a flag that's the banner of the most extraordinary, most exceptional, most incredible nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. and we're doing better now than we've ever done before.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Hammer number 3. This is Taking Back New Jersey, Damon, Galdo, and Gregg, Mele. All right, both and thank you to my great producer, the other Damon, the man behind the curtain. He reminded me I didn't say candidate. It should be nominee. We're both nominees, Republican nominees for Congress. I'm CD1, he's CD12. I'm the first one, he's the last one in the state. So, again, thank you, Gregg, for coming on. So, I'm going to go into first, I want to say we played those Trump clips. I know a lot of people are upset with Trump right now, and people are still love him. So I don't care if you love him or hate him or whatever. He's still our president, and it was their 250th birthday. So that's why I'm playing these clips. So whether you like them or not, it is what it is. But so Gregg, what's your plan to take back New Jersey? Like how are we going to do it? I know we're on a federal level, and a lot of things are handled state and locally. But, let me go with your plan first, because we only have a short period of time in this segment until we get to the last one, which is a quick one. But just tell me what's your plan to help take back New Jersey?
Well, I mean, the affordability, of course, is a central issue. So, I mean, I've talked about some of the things, but basically, I mean, yeah, we need to improve opportunities for work, for companies to thrive, so that they can have more employees that can thrive. We have to cut down the budget. I mean, I've said actually over time, many years now, we need to reduce spending, not just slow the rate of increase, which some people seem to think is enough. We've gone too far, too long with ridiculous increases in taxes and inflation and everything else. Time is up. It has to be a full reversal. Otherwise, we also did touch upon the school system. I mean, parental rights as an area, which includes that, and also personal freedom and all this kind of stuff. I've also been fighting for a long time. I was actually the only guy since summer of 2020, when it really started to come into the fore. I was the only politician who made every Trenton protest related to parental rights and personal freedom, and also typically by invitation from parents who have heard about me. I've been to, I think it's 227 municipal Board of Ed meetings since then as well, to speak on behalf of parents and their rights to guide their children's growth, and that, teaching is for education, but parents are for morals and values. And the third part of it is, it was on your list before, but I don't think we got to it, was the sanctuary status. So I just want to say briefly on that I mean, as an attorney now, my second career for the last 23, almost 24 years, coming up next month on another anniversary. To me, as soon as you sign the paper to say this area is a sanctuary for illegals or any other thing illegal, actually, but really for the illegal immigrants, now you're talking treason. I think there's no way to explain away that is the definition of treason. I mean, when Texas tried to also seal up their border because Biden wasn't doing anything, and then he filed a complaint to stop them. The minute that complaint was signed and filed, he committed treason, and everybody who had a part in it. Right. And that they're, so many people, they're so disillusioned because they want total accountability of all these people who've been destroying us. And that's all of those people having to go to jail and get whatever penalty treason gives them. But, to say that it's any less than that is either naive or just ignorant in terms of the severity of what was happening there. That was a disgrace. It continues to be a disgrace here. Putting into the budget so many millions, like our current governor is doing, for illegal aliens, to support them with our money, I think that is just a ridiculous thing for her to do in the first place, especially saying all last year, which, I mean, guys like you and me know that it was a total lie that she was ever going to do anything for affordability. Democrats just don't know how. So,
wasn't it $20 million that she got in there for legal fees for?
Yeah. It's that area, yeah, that neighborhood of number, yeah, yeah, and yeah, I mean, I know the young voters have not been around so long voting and following politics. They simply don't know, but no Democrat has ever kept a promise in terms of improving economy in any administration at any level, at least in my lifetime. And I wish they would, see more of that when it happens. I mean, I'd rather it didn't happen because I wish they didn't get elected. But to the extent that they're out there and they're doing stuff, really, every single move they make, every single law they sign, if they would look at it, every one of them is going against the interests of the people. And this is the problem. They try to make it sound like a bleeding heart, sympathy for the disadvantaged. The truth is, almost everybody can get out there and make their own way and become self-sufficient. And it's people like, actually, the lady who's finishing up her term in my district now that I'm going for and retiring, Bonnie Watson Coleman. Her newsletters to her voters always talking about, like, people have such a lack of opportunity like in 1950. And I'm sorry, but actually, all that divisiveness was almost done until Obama came back and tried to revive it to distract from policies. But the fact is, we had that stuff beat just about entirely. Affirmative action was your reparation in that matter, for that matter, that that fixed the equal starting line problem. And I mean, that's all I saw, was that people were getting the same opportunities across the board. And that was the adjustment period. But nobody has a disadvantage to go where they want to go if they're willing to put in the work to get the skills and be qualified. So these folks who just try to keep people down by telling them over and over again that they were, unable to succeed unless they get government handout. I mean, that's a disgrace in this day and age to say that to people. Yeah.
No, it absolutely is. It is. And well, first, before I go into what I'm going to say, I want to say Timmy said Mr. Mele is very smart, and New Jersey needs him. Good luck. Thanks, Timmy, for
thank you.
Thanks for my comment, Timmy.
Okay.
but no, it's fine. But no, I just make a joke.
I see the comment.
Yeah. So, one thing I want to say is, people need to realize that the government works for us. We don't work for them. And I tell the people in the union that I work for, our business agents who run our union, it's the same thing. The government, that they're like the government of our union. And people are afraid to say something to them because they're like, oh, I won't get the job. Well, you go to work, you pay your union dues, they work for you. That's what pays their salary. You go to work every day, pay your taxes, that pays their salary, for the government salary. So people need to realize that and actually step it up and push forward, because we had a 20% turnout in the primaries in June. 20%. Now, I don't know what your district looks like, but mine is heavily blue. It's a D10 plus. I mean, I think the last person that ran against North Cross lost by like 18 points, but didn't really do much in the general at all. But I plan on doing a lot. So it just, we can't, if Republicans stay at home and don't come out to vote. I mean, I know it's impossible to get 100% of registered Republicans to come out to vote. It's impossible. It's never going to happen. But even 60%, that's fine. But even if I had 100% come out to vote and no independent or no Democrat voted for me, I would lose, because there's not enough. We don't have that. So I need like-minded independents to common sense to see what's going on and come out and vote for common sense. That's exactly what it is. It's nothing more than common sense. And I need Democrats, which I know I'm going to get a lot that are in the rank and file men and women in the trades that are Democrat, but are afraid to switch to Republican because they're afraid they're going to get in trouble and they won't get sent out to work by the business agents. So that's fine. Don't switch. You can stay there. I'm past the primary, and I'm the nominee. You're the nominee. So that's what we just need to get them out to vote. Everyone needs to come out to vote. This isn't. We're on the brink of dire straits right now. I really believe we are. Even though everyone says, "Oh, well, Trump won, a Republican won." Okay, well, he's not. He can't do it all alone. You know, you need more. We got creamed in November, not just New Jersey, but
Yeah.
so did Virginia, so did New York
Mhm.
City as well. But you still need to come out to vote. And when I make the phone calls to people, I cold call people all the time, and I hate doing it. I really do. So I apologize, everybody. You get a random phone call from me for donations to my campaign, but it's just people are kind of feel beat up about it. They're like, "Oh, we got walloped in November, and we don't want to donate money." Uh, I'm not Jack Chiarelli. I'm not. You're not Jack Chiarelli. You know, so we are trying to fight this fight like we've not seen it fought before. So it's not easy. I mean, we want to flip the districts red and the state red, and we will with everyone's help out there. We will if you come out to vote, and if you
Mhm.
tell your neighbors to come out to vote, tell your coworkers, your family, your friends, just come out and vote. And we really need to get the Save Act pushed through. I mean, I hope it happens, but it's a 80,
Absolutely.
it's 80-20 issue. 80% Democrats included in that. 80% of the country wants to go through. But the Democrats that were elected by the Democrat voters out there, they're not listening to you. They work for you. Okay.
Yep.
So you need to get out there and say, you know what? I'm going Republican. I'm gonna vote for a Republican now because you're not listening to what I have to say. And this is 80% of the country wants this
Yeah.
act passed, but the Democrats are holding it up and they won't allow it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah. By the way, there's one comment I wanted to make. The person said the 50s were great. I mentioned about the 50s. That was one of the biggest economic boom periods. I just want to clarify. My comment was that not everybody got to share on in that in terms of the racial divide at that time, and that's the comparison I was making to since that time. That things have just gotten better and better with that. But yeah, just briefly also about my district. I mean, it's considered possibly the most diverse district in the country. It certainly is the most diverse in New Jersey, which is interesting and, of course, challenging. I mean, you have a lot of different people with different ideas that you have to satisfy in order to be good at this elected position. But one of the biggest things for me, I mean, that whole thing before the squad and all these other crazy people, I mean, they are certainly communists. But I mean, when I talk about this, it's kind of like they are sort of first level communists that have come into elected office because before that, we really didn't have anyone so overt like them. But when I think of my opponent, having been tied to an Al Qaeda organization that he worked for a while, and also being the translator, but also someone who volunteered to speak on behalf of the mastermind of the 93 bombing, you know, certainly deeply involved with that stuff. I mean, he is next level. He is a step ahead, beyond all of these other folks that we already complain about. So I like to think I have the advantage of having someone that many people, when they go in that booth, they should be thinking as they're about to press the button or pull the lever or whatever kind of machine you have, can you really, with any conscience, vote? I mean, forget it, put the party ahead of the person to vote for someone who is nothing but destruction of the country. And could you really press that thing, instead of someone who really has fought for New Jersey his whole life? What I suggest I've been doing, uh, instead of someone who's fighting against New Jersey, like so many we've already seen again at that first level of communist. And now, I mean, can you really be so set to not even be open-minded enough to see this guy is nothing but trouble? He's next level crazy and no goal except for basically the promotion of Islam, fundamentalism. And otherwise you've got a guy who's always cared about this state, cared about the people in it. I've done my tours of duty all around the state in terms of helping people in various efforts before. And now this is the chance I've been looking for to help an entire district of people every day for however many years they would have me. Although I have also promised to, made a pledge of self-term limiting. So, I mean, I believe in everyone having a turn to give back. I mean, like I said before, I'm kind of the American dream poster boy. I came from nothing and barely made the ability to get into college. And then 4 graduate degrees later, here I am, plus a couple of careers. The latest, of course, I told you about. But it's a situation of, someone who has always been so thankful and, just the improvement in my life and what I've also sacrificed. I mean, I certainly haven't kept everything that I've been able to accomplish and achieve for myself. I share with others all the time in terms of giving to people. And, sometimes that's some pretty fair sacrifice of my own, but because I know that, the folks, even with the sacrificing I do, that there's so many people who could use it more than me, and I have no aspirations for the corporate jet or anything else like that. I want to be just okay with my family, like most people, and so I just try to make sure I can cover as many other people in various ways in terms of helping and volunteering and donating to and things like that. But you have that versus a terrorist. I mean, how many people, again, with a clear conscience could actually pull that lever once they're in the booth? It's a find God moment, and hopefully they'll find it to see that they have a better choice this time, regardless of party.
So, no, you're right. And that's why I'm proud to know you. I know what kind of type of person you are, and I'm happy that you came on the podcast tonight. So I know you're an awesome guy, and you need to get elected, and so do I. But so we're going to take a quick break. It's going to be a really quick segment. We're going to do the Patriot Award and then Loser Award of the week as we do. Okay. So take a quick break.
Yep.
Hey, it's great to be on with you. This is a great podcast. It's a lot of fun, and it's informative, and it's real information. It's none of the frills and none of the nonsense that you hear on the legacy media, just telling the story of what's happening right now. It's what I do with my newsletter that I get out to anybody who wants to see it. It's what you're doing with this podcast. America needs to know what the real deal is, and you're the real deal.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the awards segment. It's a real quick one. We're going to close it out, but thank you, Congressman Van Drew, for that. Thank you. I am the real deal. So is Gregg. So
there you go.
So every week I do the Patriots and Loser Week Award. So there's Gregg. If you want to just tell people real quick where people can find you, that's your QR code to your website, by the way. But if you want to just talk about it and tell people where to find you.
Yeah. I mean, certainly for the donating part, as well as my background, what I've been doing, and what I plan to do in this seat. That's www.Mele for America. It's MELE and the number 4 America.com. You'll find most information there. We also have at or close to the IDs on all the social media of Mele for America. So please, follow us, pay attention to what we're doing. I hope you like what you see. And certainly, I also do consider it that, as many good people, like a lot of the Republicans we actually have running this year, I consider it that, my job is to listen to everybody and see what they need and see what I can accomplish to those ends. So, there's as important as any part of my website is the page for Contact Us. Please tell us what you're interested in, what your problems are. I'm happy to have conversations to figure out how we can attack them, and I'll get in there and do it. So you can count on that.
Right. And then same here. Everyone knows where to find me. VoteDamonGaldo.com. Everyone knows my social media too because of this podcast. It's, that Damon Galdo and J for Congress on Facebook. Same thing with X and everything else. So I'm the Republican nominee for District 1. Gregg, Republican nominee for District 12. I just want to thank everyone for watching, and we're going to go into the Patriot of the Week Award. It's a young kid named Angles, 15 years old, and when he called me when he reached out to me the first time through my website, I was talking, I gave my number, we talked, and he said, "Yeah, I know I'm a little young." And this last week, I did it last week, the week before. It was Frank, same age. They both reached out to me, and when I was talking to them, I gave him Frank Patriot Week Award last time, so I said, "Angles, you're going to get it now too." But when I was talking to them, they said, "Oh no, we're a little young," and I said, "Well, how young are you?" And they're like 15, and I cursed at them. I said, "Get to that down here." So I thought they were joking, and I was like, "Oh." I was like, "You're really 15." So then I got to meet their parents and talk to them. But these kids are exceptional. They're prodigies. They really are. So Frank gets the Patriot of the Week award. Here, let it roll. Not Frank Engels. Sorry.
The Jersey Shore Podcast presents the Patriot Award. And it goes to Engels Polanco.
There you go. That's your certificate, Engels. Thank you.
Well done.
You're awesome, buddy. Keep up the good work. You're going to be something one day. You and Frank, great friends. You're both going to be something one day. Probably better than me. They were smarter than me. They were like outsmarting me. I was talking to them. I thought they were. I thought they were 40. I'm like, wow, these guys are smart. And they were having a conversation. Okay, we're 15. I'm like, what? So, but
Excellent.
Yeah, they're great kids. That's what we need. That's the future right there. This guy, I don't know. He's from North Jersey. I don't know if you know him. I'm gonna roll this because, and then after it rolls, I want to explain to everybody why he gets the Loser of the Week award, because I'll tell you what he did, and I don't even know the guy, and neither does Frank either. Frank is the other kid I was talking about, and let's just roll the Loser of the Week award, and.
The Jersey Shore Podcast is announcing the recipient of our latest Loser Award. This award goes to Luis Alvarez. Losers! 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 Losers!
Oh, shut up!
Now, I don't typically attack anybody ever, but the reason why I made this for this guy, I don't even know who he is, but the young kid Frank, who's 15, he posted a video on Facebook with Van Drew signs, coming from Van Drew signs, saying, "Hey, I have Van Drew signs. I want to give them out. Anybody contact me through Messenger, and I'll get you one." And this guy out of nowhere, I don't know who the heck he is, goes on and he calls him a cuck, a 15-year-old, and out of nowhere, and attacks the heck out of him. And I'm like, what? And I don't get into social media wars with anybody because I'm running the campaign. But then when we had Nick DeSilvio, he jumped in and told the guy, said, "What are you doing?" And then his mother, Frank's mother, jumped in and said, "He's 15 years old. What are you calling him that for?" It was blatant. It was just out of nowhere. There was no reason for this guy to say this. And then he comes back and that we had John Valentine, the councilman, run for mayor, Monroe Township. He went after the guy and said, why are you going after a 15-year-old kid? It was literally a video saying, "I have Congressman Van Drew signs if anybody wants them." That was it. That was the video. And this guy just attacked him. And then he went after his mother. And then I had to say something to him. I just said, he's 15 years old. And his mother said the same thing. And he's like, "Oh, well, he looked older than that." I'm like, this kid has a Campbell soup face, young kid. I'm just like, no way you would think he was older than that. But that's why he's getting this. And I hope he wises up. I hope he doesn't do stuff like this, because he's trying to, number one, don't attack your own party. I mean, there was no reason for it whatsoever. I mean, literally, there was no reason other than he put a video out there. He doesn't know Frank. And this guy, so I put child bully on there because he just came out of nowhere and just attacked the heck out of him. And it was a disgrace. So Luis Alvarez, get your stuff together, because that is not how you win. That is not how we win. And you don't attack kids. And over
now more than ever, we need unity in this body.
Yeah, it was stupid. It's not like he said something about him, but he just said, "I have Van Drew signs. Here they are. Message me and I'll get you one." That's it. Because he's helping Van Drew out with his campaign as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a 15-year-old kid that doesn't have to do this, and he's doing it.
Yeah.
And this guy out of nowhere, I don't have no clue why he would just come and call him a cuck. Like really, so it was horrible. So, buddy, get your stuff together, man. Apologize to him. You really should apologize to his mother as well, because he said things to her. But there was no point behind it, and it was embarrassing for our party. Somebody that says they're part of our party. So,
right. Yeah.
But all right, Gregg. Well, listen. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. I'd love to have you on again. We got a heavy race in front of us. It's going to take a lot of our time.
Yeah.
So while we continue to help each other out, I want to get other people that are running on as well. So,
Damon, it's always such a pleasure to be on here, and thanks for always letting me go. Probably longer than I'm supposed to, but
no problem.
You never say anything.
I'm always. Hey, people get tired of hearing me talking, so that's when I have a guest. I'll let you roll with it. So.
But always a pleasure to be here. Always good to see you, and we'll do more catching up, probably here and in person. I hope real soon.
So, all right. And what do you see? We have the ad coming out with Justin Murphy. It's going to be
okay.
Fun. It's going to be fun. It's a funny ad. So
very good.
Stay tuned for that. But other than that, everyone that stayed tuned tonight, thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate it. Signing off.
Yes, and thanks to the audience. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This one's for New Jersey. For every working family that's had enough. Name's Damon Galdo. And I'm just getting started. Job site dust to the streets of the shore. Steel-toed boots, yeah, I know what I'm working for. Middle class hurting, every bill going up. While suits in D.C. say, man, just trust us. I'm a builder by trade, put my sweat in the ground. Now I'm building up hope for my hometown. Jersey's my home, blue-collar soul. I don't make excuses, I get it done, that's all I know. I felt the pressure, I've lived that grind, trying to give your kids a better life. I won't forget where I came from, man, cause I'm built by work. I'm built by working hands, fighting for working families. Not a career man who forgot what hard work means. They talk real big, but nothing ever changes. While Jersey keeps drowning in the same old pain, I'll build a future strong for our kids in this land. I'm Damon Galdo, built by working hands. Yeah. Donald Norcross been there year after year. Same old story while the struggle's still here. Claims he's for workers, but look around town. Rent sky high, grocery bills breaking us down. Where's the relief for the middle class grind? Cause all I see is folks falling behind. I ain't got decades in some DC chair. I got skin in the game, cause my family's here. Time, they had their shot, and tell me, Jersey, what have we got? It's time for change, time for a stand, time for a work, and not another plan, not another plan, not another plan. Yeah! I'm built by working hands, fighting for working families. Not some suit who sold you fantasy. We waited long enough, it's time to demand a future built by honest hands for Jersey strong, for this great land. I'm Damon Galdo, built by working hands. Yeah, this ain't left, this ain't right. This is fight for what's right. For every mom working double shifts, every dad praying they don't miss. I'm running for my kids, running for yours, for a state that deserves so much more. Not talk, that's the plan, let's build it back with a working man. For our children running dreams for a better way. I'll fight for Jersey every day. No empty words, I'll take the stand, 'cause I'm built by work. Yeah, I'm built by working hands, fighting for working families. While the old guard keeps playing the same old game. But we're done with waiting, done with excuses. It's time for a man who knows how to do this. I build a future strong for our kids in this land. I'm Damon, Galdo, built by working hands. New Jersey 1st District. If you're tired of the talk and ready for work, walk with me. Galdo, Galdo. Galdo, Galdo. Galdo, Galdo. Make the crowd chant with no music.
The Hammer thanks you for watching tonight's Jersey Shore podcast. See you at the next packed show, from breaking news to topics that will keep you informed. So please click the subscribe button to get notified of upcoming episodes. If you like what the Hammer talked about, then share the Jersey Shore podcast to others. Damon also looks forward to seeing you on the next episode.